Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're doing something really exciting. We are translating a top oncologist's 27 years of clinical experience into a super clear, actionable health guide specifically for adults over 50. To really wrap our heads around the scale of what we're talking about here, check out this staggering 2022 Harvard study of over 135,000 adults. Researchers found that practicing a specific cluster of daily lifestyle habits reduced overall cancer risk by an incredible 61%. Just think about that number for a second. That is not some marginal improvement. That is a massive, life-altering shift in your biological outcomes. Why do some people avoid cancer entirely as they age, while others simply don't? These 5 most powerful, completely zero-cost prevention habits. We're going to move from foundational diet changes all the way up to the single most life-altering daily practice you can adopt. All right, let's kick off our countdown with habit number 5, cutting processed food. This right here sets the critical foundation for your cellular repair. Think of it like this. Inside your body right now, you have a cellular proofreader called DNA mismatch repair. Its entire job is to catch genetic errors before they mutate into something dangerous. But here's the catch. After age 50, its efficiency drops by up to 40%. When you eat ultra-processed foods, you are literally flooding your cells with inflammatory compounds that actively impair this biological proofreader precisely when you need it most. We see this play out perfectly with 58-year-old Sandra. Sandra didn't go on some crazy crash diet. Her simple swap from processed staples like breakfast cereal and deli meat to whole foods completely normalized her IL-6 levels. In fact, her CRP inflammation markers plummeted by an incredible 44% just from making that one shift. So what's the big takeaway for us? It's all about your minimum effective dose. You absolutely do not need a massive, stressful diet overhaul overnight. Simply replace one ultra-processed item in each meal with a whole food equivalent. Grab an apple instead of a packaged protein bar. That single choice immediately protects those vital DNA repair enzymes. Moving right along to habit number 4, protecting deep sleep. Let's see how optimizing our sleep powerfully compounds the food changes we just made. Your immune system heavily relies on natural killer, or NK cells. Think of them as your internal security force, constantly patrolling your bloodstream for early-stage cancer cells. Here is the biological trigger. Your deep sleep stages directly release the proteins needed to activate these NK cells. A landmark 2019 study showed that sleeping fewer than 6 hours slashes this cancer-fighting security force by an alarming 70%. No way around it. That's a huge drop. We can see the real-world effect of this in 63-year-old Robert. He was suffering from really fractured rest, getting maybe 5 hours a night. By implementing strict sleep hygiene to fix that broken sleep, he doubled his deep sleep stages. And by doing so, he actively increased his NK cell count by 38%, an improvement objectively measured and verified right there in his follow-up blood work. So how do we fix this? The most actionable takeaway here is to establish what sleep researchers call anchor sleep. You do this by committing to the exact same wake time every single morning, yes, even on the weekends. This powerfully regulates your circadian rhythm, paving the way for those deep, restorative, immune-boosting sleep cycles. All right, we're at habit number 3, purposeful daily movement. This is where we completely reframe the burden of stressful gym workouts into purposeful, medicinal daily movement. Notice the contrast happening at a hormonal level here. Sitting around too much chronically elevates a hormone called IGF-1, which honestly acts like a fertilizer for cancer cells. But purposeful movement does the exact opposite. It acts as a biological brake. It lowers IGF-1 and activates p53, which is your body's most powerful internal stop signal against malignant growth. Take 71-year-old Eleanor, for example. Because of her arthritis, traditional gym workouts were totally out of the question. But get this, she still dropped her IGF-1 levels by 23%. How? Just by taking brief walks and making a point to stand up and stretch during her afternoon TV time. It's not about intense, sweaty exercise. It's about consistent, intentional movement. Your game plan here couldn't be simpler. Take a 20-minute walk right after your biggest meal of the day. Stanford research actually proves this specific, simple habit suppresses the glucose spikes that fuel cancer cell metabolism by up to 33%. Okay, we're into the top 2. Habit number 2, regulate chronic stress. We're going to tackle the deeply misunderstood biological impact of feeling stressed out every day. When you are chronically stressed, your body is just pumping out the stress hormone cortisol. Over time, that chronic cortisol suppresses your vital DNA repair genes and activates an inflammatory pathway called NF-kappa B. Basically, this pathway sends a signal telling your body not to eliminate dangerous, pre-malignant cells, effectively keeping damaged cells alive and thriving. Definitely not what we want. We can observe this profound biological shift in 66-year-old David. He didn't magically eliminate stress from his life, but by simply altering his body's physiological response to daily stressors, he completely normalized his inverted cortisol rhythm. As a result, he dropped his inflammatory markers by 31%. It's really about changing how your biology reacts to stress, not trying to avoid it entirely. The tool to do this is practically effortless. It's just 12 minutes of a simple 4-7-8 breathing pattern daily, inhaling for 4 counts, holding for 7, and exhaling for 8. This specific cadence is clinically proven to reduce cortisol levels by 26% and simultaneously boosts your cancer-fighting NK cell activity. And here we are, the master lever. Habit number 1. Trigger cellular autophagy. This is a protocol that dramatically amplifies the cancer-fighting power of every single habit we've discussed so far. When you enter a fasted state for about 13 to 16 hours, you trigger this incredible internal diagnostic system called autophagy. Think of autophagy as your body's ultimate cellular cleanup cycle. It actively patrols your system to dismantle and recycle all that accumulated cellular debris and damage that, if left unchecked, eventually leads to tumors. This is exactly what happened for 61-year-old Michael. He shifted away from a chaotic, late-night 16-hour eating window to a highly structured 10-hour eating window. That one simple timing shift allowed his body to do its job, completely resolving his precancerous polyps and boosting his autophagy markers by an astonishing 53%. Implementing this is a total breeze. You don't need to meticulously count calories or skip entire meals. You just need to establish a consistent 10 to 12-hour eating window and protect it daily. Outside of that window, consume nothing but water, black coffee, or unsweetened tea, and just step back so your body can do the vital cleanup work. Now, zooming out to look at this whole picture, we can clearly see how this integrated biological strategy comes together. Cutting processed food, protecting your sleep, moving daily, breathing, and time-restricted eating, they aren't just isolated tips. They interact. They compound on one another to build an impenetrable cellular defense mechanism across all fronts. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to remember one vital truth. Your cells are not fixed, and your risk is definitely not sealed. You have the power to change your biological environment starting today. So I want to leave you with this question. Which of these 5 habits are you going to commit to tackling this week? And what's your biggest obstacle to making it happen? Let's get to work on building a healthier future.